to play when getting an approval. But as we talked about in this particular scenario, it's all about the mixture of your credit. It's vitally important because, again, having a strong credit profile is how you go out there and unlock, as I call it, the bank's money. It's how you go out there and leverage your credit. Okay, so one of the very last ingredients about what it's going to take for you to build a perfect credit score, it's actually kind of covered in one of the first topics, but it's the length of your credit history. Length of credit. All right, and you may say, what do you mean by the length of credit? All of our credit profiles has an age of time, meaning from the very first time you had credit extended to you, that's when that clock starts. And then it goes on infinitely until, you decide you no longer want to apply for credit. So now keep in mind, the newer your file, meaning, let's say you just started building credit in the past 2 years, your scores or your profile may be a little bit weaker than someone who's had a 10-year credit history run, as I call it. So the length of credit is vitally important. Now, you may also say, well, what do you mean by the length of credit? Or how does that hurt me or help me or whatever the case is? I'll give you an example. So let's say you have 10 years of credit history. And then you say, you know what? It's time for me to go out there and start building some new credit. But your credit is not in position. Understanding it's a difference when you're trying to apply for credit when it's in position versus when it's not in position. So when it's not in position and your credit file is 10 years old and you're going out there and applying for a bunch of credit cards and you're getting none but denials, what's going to happen is you're going to get what's called credit inquiries, meaning every time they pull your credit or check your credit, it's going to be like a demerit on your credit profile, letting the banks know, hey, this person has tried to apply for credit. But when you get denied, it's that much more detrimental to your overall credit profile. But hence, what it also does is that it brings your length of credit history down. Let's say you do get approved for that $300 credit card. So what's going to happen is it brought your average age of your file down. So it's really important to understand, first of all, the length of credit history is important, but also that, you want to make sure that you're not just going out there going on a credit card binge. You want to make sure that, first of all, you've educated yourself on what banks and underwriters are looking for to even be approved. And then I also see this happen a lot when people are going out there automobile shopping. Did you know you can get an automobile with a 500 credit score? Now, I didn't say a good automobile. So you can get an automobile with a 500 credit score. But what comes along with that 500 credit score automobile that you just drove off? 29% interest, which means for a $10,000 vehicle that you probably had to put down $7,000 on, the remaining balance of $3,000, your monthly payment is going to be $280 over the next 3 years. Now, you can do the math on that and see you just paid for this vehicle probably about 4 times over. So understand that when you don't have bad credit, having bad credit is expensive. I'll just flat out tell you. But with this information, again, that's done wonders for my life, has been able to position me to travel the country. I was fortunate enough to do a 25-city tour with my partner last year to where we went into communities and literally the exact same thing I'm doing right here on this whiteboard, we were able to do for them outside, whether it was raining, whether it was 90 degrees and humid, any weather condition you could think of course, because we crisscrossed the country over the span of about 9 months. And we gave people this information. And I literally would have people come up to me in tears and say, you just don't know that, how much this information has changed me, because now we've been able to go from a 2-bedroom apartment where 7 of us are living to be able to purchase our first home. And I mean, things like that is what pushes me to continue on this quest of giving you this information. Again, that's been so vital to me, and that's helped me, tremendously over the past 10 years. Again, guys, this is Will Roundtree. And again, this is why I made this program. I wanted to give you guys this information, not just so that you can hoard it for yourself, but so that you can actually do something with it. So when you are sick and tired of being sick and tired, when you're constantly getting those, credit card denials, when you're constantly having collection agencies call your phone, whether you're at home or you're at work, Whether you're scared to go to the car dealership because you know you're going to roll out of there with something that's undesirable based upon your credit score. Or you may be one of those who know nothing about credit. That's okay, because we have something no matter where you at.